Teamwork Arts Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we try and go behind the scenes and try and figure out the thoughts that animate the actions of those who make the art. And today, someone who has been a little synonymous with mid-tempo magic, with genteel expressions, but who has also not been afraid to actually go out and express himself in a more aggressive way, in his own way. It's absolutely wonderful to have you, Ankur Tewari, on our Teamwork Arts podcast. Thank you very much for your time. Ankur and the Galat family has been touring before, of course, the third wave put paid to our travel plans. But you've everything from playing a guy who gives opportunities to young newcomers to act, to actually giving the opportunity to the kind of music that needs to be heard in Gully Boy. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's firstly, I really find it fascinating when people introduce me, so at least I get to know what I'm doing. The way you introduce me, I figured out what I'm doing. And secondly, I would just like to maybe correct it in a way. I don't give opportunities to anyone. It's just like I love to collaborate with people and find
Yes,
out new sound. It's like
for sure.
schooling for me as well. So it's an equal exchange. So opportunity always feels as if it's an unequal exchange. But
For
yes,
sure.
I love to work with people. And the third thing, as you said, yeah, it's been quite a journey. Yes, indeed.
And you've, of course, always very thoroughly believed in the collaborative process. Like, even now, if you were to look at the composition of the Galat family, you've got some phenomenal musicians that you're working with. When Gully Boy was being put together, you took up some of the most strident voices on the hip hop scene and got that together. Gully Boy has sort of, in a way, been instrumental in sort of highlighting a scene that was thriving already. Did you ever feel that was a bit of a responsibility that you had taken upon yourself?
Actually, never got the time to think of the responsibility bit. Only when it was done, then I realized, oh my God, like what have, like, there was a sense of responsibility. It was always, the work has been trying to be honest with what you're doing, whether it's making songs independently, whether it's making songs for a mainstream project. The idea is to immerse yourself in it and get consumed by it while you're doing it, and express yourself as honestly as you can. So, frankly, I never got the time or the bandwidth to even think about the responsibility aspect. It was just trying to be honest to the script and trying to be honest to the voice that was written on paper.
And of course, you've always tried to be honest to the voice inside your head. From earlier conversations, I still remember that the process of expressing yourself through words had started pretty early on. So you want to take us to the story of how you started the process of being a singer songwriter?
I mean, like, the process started in a very naive manner when I used to have lots of records at home, English, French records, in which I didn't understand the lyrics. I wanted to sing along those songs, and then I thought the best way to do that would be to kind of make up your own words, and so that you can sing along. And you join the chorus back in the hook line. So maybe the first line I kind of wrote was "part-time lover," in which we wrote some, like, was stupid rhymes like "Kadakti dhoop chale hum sab gaye the part-time lover," So it was just as stupid as that. It was just fun and games, and my friends and I started making music very early. We were just making music, writing stupid rhymes and songs, probably in the vein of the influencer culture these days. In the offline world, we were getting popular doing that, just writing stupid, clever rhymes, making everyone laugh and making everyone sing, to a point where you started thinking, oh my God, like, you're really getting through to people. People are really listening to you. So might as well say something important. And through that, you started writing songs, and before you know it, you started, kind of taking words more seriously than before. And yeah, so then it's been a process from there, from probably part-time lover to here. has been quite a crazy organic process, and it's taken many years. It's not like, I still feel that I'm in the process. It's been like since the time I got conscious of that this is songwriting and not just having fun, to now it seems like you've been in this university that you're not kind of graduating from.
Sure. The process of rebellion had also started pretty early. You told me about school where you had your own way to rebel. You want to tell us a little about that?
I mean, as a young kid, I never liked people telling me what to do. I would always go the other way around, and whether it was, something that would happen in school, or something that would happen in your in the playground where you're playing, you always kind of were, I would say, not rebel, but like not afraid to speak your mind. I was probably angrier also when I was younger. I was listening to harder music as well, and I was never afraid to speak my mind. And somehow, I don't know if that kind of became my identity, which I kind of live up to now, or I don't know. Like it's definitely a part of me, and I investigate that from time to time. Is it just a part I'm playing, or is it something I really want to say? That kind of maturity has probably come in now, but earlier it was that I will not. If you ask me to shut up, I'm not going to do that.
And the way you say things, of course, is a very gentle way, but it's an iron fist within a velvet glove. I mean, everything from "Sabse Piche Hum Khade" to "Wo Hum Nahi" has a meaning behind it. But you've usually used love as a vehicle to sort of get everything across, a little bit of positivity as well, because you've been of the opinion that love conquers all mostly, and yet "Wo Hum Nahi" was a much more strident expression of your feelings. That's of course the song, for those who don't know, that you had written for the CAA protest. What was the process behind writing that song? Because there it seemed like the angrier Ankur Tewari had come out to say something very important.
Yeah, kind of like, I had not been this angry since a long time. There were there was this like attack in the university in JNU that had happened, and it was like I have grown up in a campus all my life. I grew up in Roorkee, IIT now, which my father was a professor in. And growing up in campus, you felt, like for the students, and you always like curious what's happening with the students. And when you saw violence happening within the campus, within the hostels, it just felt as if like, I have been attacked. It kind of like threw me back to the times when I was living in the campus, and something like this would never happen. Like you would, even the police, if they had to enter the university, they had to take permission, and let alone hooligans. That would never happen, and it definitely made me very angry. I remember very clearly I was playing an acoustic set in South Bombay, and I was reading this in the green room while this was happening, and somehow that phrase came to me in my mind, where even the news channels were putting out some biased news, some unbiased news, but it felt like this is not us. Like that's a thought that was going through my mind before I went on stage. I think I had a 45-minute set. I was playing that set. I don't remember when I got on stage and how I got off stage, but when I came back, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just didn't keep my guitar in the case, and I strummed these chords, and somehow in 10-15 minutes these words just found themselves on paper. So it definitely came from a lot of anger and a lot of I was disgusted, but like now you're like beating up students, and it's we always thrive on the idea of education and on the idea of scientific thinking, and I kind of am uh, disappointed in the new approach that a lot of people are taking, which is not backed by science. I kind of still feel angry about it.
Yeah, you want to express that anger one more time by playing a little bit of the song for us?
Yeah, I could play it, but I wouldn't be as angry as I was then. I'll play a few lines.
Yes, please.
तेरे जालिम इरादों के जुल्मों से तुम सहें, वो हम नहीं, वो हम नहीं, वो हम नहीं। तेरे खौफ के कहर से खामोश रह गए, वो हम नहीं, वो हम नहीं, वो हम नहीं। डरते होंगे बुज़दिल तेरे डराने से, सैलाबों से, आंधियों से, तूफानों से। वो आग बुझ जाए जो हवाओं से, वो हम नहीं, 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 वो हम नहीं।
जो आग बुझ जाए हवाओं से वो हम नहीं। और आग तो बहुत लगी अंकुर। आफ्टर द सॉन्ग डिड यू हैव we all talk about the repercussions of our actions. Were there repercussions to the song as well, to you actually going there up on stage and making such an eloquent statement?
Yeah, I think like there was a lot of I would say strong feedback, positive and negative. There were some threats online. The video got we put the video up and the video got a copyright strike. It was very difficult to put it back. It was just it definitely stirred an emotion
Right.
among people.
But was it purely emotional, Ankur? I mean, to us, especially to me, when I heard the song, it made me feel really good that far too often music is seen as purely entertainment. But we've grown up with musicians who truly believed that words, when merged with music, can make a statement, and more importantly, can make a change. So it was really heartening to see someone using music to make that statement. Was there ever a sense of responsibility when you were doing that, or was that pure outpouring of emotion?
For me, it's always outpouring of emotion. The responsibility aspect comes and I don't think about it as much. It wasn't like I never feel like I'm supposed to do anything. You kind of do, you honestly listen to what your heart is saying and you say it. And I feel that if you're honest about it, then that's the way to go. And probably sometimes even in future I might end up saying something that is not even correct. It's not about that. I honestly feel about art being the timestamp of my life. I like put a timestamp to it. So this is what I was feeling at that moment. It was like I wanted people capture it in paintings, photographs. I captured in music, and this is what I was feeling at that time, and I expressed it and I captured that. Maybe sometime in future I express something and then maybe it's not right, but the honest truth is at that moment that was who I was, and there's always some learning from it.
But do you have thoughts about the responsibility of art? I mean, there's of course the practice of the art and the honing of the art, but there's also a responsibility that art might have towards the society that it seems to define. Do you have thoughts about those?
I have thoughts about having responsibility as a human being, as a member of a democracy. I do have thoughts about that. As an artist, I do what I do. As a probably a shopkeeper, the shopkeeper will do what they do. I feel that everything is politics, and everything is it's in everything. When people say they're apolitical, it's an oxymoron. Like I don't feel that it exists. Everything you do is politics. So you express yourself through your craft and through your profession and through what you do as a human being, and that's a constant discussion in your mind for sure.
Right. But but with the current scenario that we're facing, there is a smoother path and there is a rockier path. Have you ever been tempted to take the smoother path where non-controversial topics and the power of love can be talked about, rather than controversial topics and the power of love? Have you ever been tempted to make a choice between these two paths?
As I said, when I put it to my work, I don't think about it. It comes. I really don't feel that I'm writing songs consciously. It's you are in a subconscious state. You really feel yourself. You're in the hal or you're in a meditative state, and you're expressing what you're feeling. So if you're feeling love, or you're feeling greed, or you're feeling hate, or you're feeling jealousy, you would write about that. So it's not that you say, okay, today I'm going to write a song about I'm upset, or today I'm going to write a song about I'm jealous, or today I'm going to write a song about I'm hungry. You just write it, and you just write what you're feeling. So it's not like it's not, in my process at least, it's not about deciding what you're going to do. It's kind of letting yourself feel and letting yourself express what you're feeling in that order.
But do you think that the space for expressing that feeling and that emotion is shrinking a little? And there's you see a lot of people who are not actually allowed to practice their craft in that way. So would you agree that or disagree that the space for expression has been shrinking in the recent past?
I don't think so. I feel, in fact, the space has increased with the digital technology. You can reach many more people through it. So I feel it's not about the space decreasing or not. And also, like, I come from a certain privilege. I have certain access. So I use that. In some people don't have the privilege or the access, so they can't afford to probably express. They just have to live and survive. So I don't, to answer your question directly, I don't feel the space is decreasing. In fact, space is increasing. I think the number of people who are honestly expressing is decreasing. So it's the other way around.
You want to tell us a little more about that?
No, it's just like the digital world and the digital revolution has taken a very interesting turn where people, there's a sense of homogeneity that's coming across, which is what's happening. It's like feel everything is kind of looking the same, everything is kind of sounding the same. People are being encouraged to do that. People are dancing to the same tune. People are doing the same actions. And they find a feeling of tribe in that. Probably there's a sense of comfort they get in that. It's a very interesting thing to investigate. And I think I'm sure that people would be doing research on that and writing papers on that. But from my point of view, it's just there's so much information that's going in. It's like literally, I feel like a gluttony of the mind, where you just feeding food of like thought and things into your brain, and you're not digesting it, and you're getting obese brains. And I feel because of that, the comfort level is to kind of fall into a sense of a homogeneous tribe. And probably it started when somebody called the television the idiot box. Probably it started when people started looking down more when books were printed. I don't know. It's like I feel like it happens from time to time. With the publishing industry coming in, it must have happened. People must have thought, oh, now you're not listening to bards and singers, and now you're looking down and reading books.
But there is, Ankur, it's interesting because I think we have a lot of information that we have access to because of the digital world, but we might just be confusing that with knowledge, because I think information is passive. It's you can get it anywhere, but converting it into knowledge is an active thing, and probably people might be confusing one for the other. No.
I'm sure, and I feel that's why I'm saying it's not a new thing. I feel that probably something similar happened when books started publishing, When people would say that, before books, it would be, you probably had to be more patient to understand something, or whether you're learning yoga or you're learning music and any part of the world, it was not written in a book. You won't get a handbook to read it.
Sure.
And probably a lot of people were upset about this. Is you're not even understanding what the real thing is, and you're reading about it. That's like bullshit. Now you see that books are so sacred and precious to us,
Sure.
just because it's in context to what's happening digitally. But probably it was the same thing, and I feel the human brain is kind of changing with time. This must have had an impact on behavior in terms of how people express. That's why it's very difficult to kind of compare the writers of those times to writers of these times, singers of those times to singers of these times. It's different times, and different rules and different forms of engagement. So I feel it's quite complex. Frankly, I'm not qualified to speak about it, but these are the thoughts that kind of echo in my brain.
But it's also very interesting. You are a singer-songwriter. You write for yourself. You've got some songs that are intensely personalized, and then of course with your band you go to arenas, small, big. You've sort of done the gamut of the arenas. We are seeing. I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but during these COVID times especially, we've seen that music has become a lot more internalized. A lot of people are actually sitting down and writing their songs, the singer-songwriters, etc., and putting it out there, and people are also consuming it in a very internalized way. Earlier, consumption of music in a way used to also be, as you said, a community activity. You would go out, you'd go to a concert, you'd really enjoy that. Now it's becoming intensely personal. Do you think that's good, bad, that's evolution? Do you have thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a change. It's change, and you have to change with times. Again, like if you see from times from when people would listen to radio as a community, even with technology, to music systems, and probably I remember it clearly when Walkman came in. The older people were not very happy about it. वो अपनी दुनिया में खोया रहता है, क्या कर रहा है, कान में लगा के कहाँ घूमता रहता है, like it's
That's
like
true,
really,
actually.
and it was really it was strange. And now, like when you see the older generation, they used to dance with people. Now we dance with ourselves. When you go to clubs, you see so many people dancing on their own. That to an older generation must be something really odd. Like, what the hell are they doing? They're dancing with music, but they're not dancing with anyone, because
Sure.
dance itself was probably a group thing, which became probably a duo or trio thing, which became a singular thing. So it's odd. So I think with times things change, and one has to understand why. So it's still I don't know what is right or wrong.
Sure.
But I feel this is the way it is.
And you, of course, believe in saying things, but there's also listening to what is being said. You've also seen a spectrum of listenership in that way. Have you seen the listenership change through the years?
Of course, it's changed even through my times. When you say like there's so many people expressing themselves, recording, it's also because of technology. Because even when I started recording my music, it was not that easy to record music. You could only record in studios. There were no bedroom studios. There was no, it was expensive to record. You were recording on tape, so you had to record a certain length, which would have been true even when you were pressing records. Like I was having this conversation with someone, is in earlier times, the length of the song changed. Before the recording music industry came, probably 40 minutes would just be the intro of the song. To then you kind of get into the song, which obviously when the record industry came in, the recording industry happened, they would have said, this is not going to fit on an LP, so what the hell are you doing? So cut down the song. So they must have then said, okay, now we'll make 15-minute songs.
Sure.
And they give them 5-minute songs, 3-minute songs. Now I know some musicians who are making 30-second songs now for reels. So
Reels, yes.
so it's really you're just writing the hook. As my friend Varun Grover had put in a very nice way, he had said that you can even hide a dead body in the third verse, nobody gets there. So it's like really, it's the truth. The length is changing, the consumer behavior is changing, people are listening to shorter, snappier stuff, and it'll keep on changing.
Sure. So yeah, there's one aspect which is of course the creator aspect that you have, and then there's the other which is the curator aspect, which came out in such glory in Gully Boy. Not that the hip hop scene started there, but it certainly gave the impetus. It certainly put the highlight on a scene that was thriving already and could have certainly done with the attention. It'd be fascinating to know how that happened. So you want to take us through the process of how that happened a little?
So the process of that was very, very organic. It started from the script. Zoya and Rima had written this fabulous script, and Zoya is a friend, so we exchange our creative ideas with each other. If I write a song, I send a demo to her, or if I write something, I send it to her. If she writes something, she sends to me, and then we just like kind of give a feedback on that. And I read the script. I was fascinated by Murad's story. It had such a beautiful arc, and it was highly emotional as well. My major comment on that was the music is such an integral part of this. I just told her that because it's the protagonist is a musician from a world that exists in Bombay, she should use musicians who do this, and they should be able to kind of do the music for it. And I even said that it was a very early draft, so I said I can make you meet these guys, you should meet these guys and hang with them, listen to their stories, because you can detail your script according to that. And Rima and Zoya started doing that. They started meeting these musicians, mainly Divine, Nazi, and hanging with them, listening to them, taking aspects of their personal anecdotes and putting them in the script, and really like making the script in an interesting way. And I think after a few weeks, Zoya approached me and she said that I really like these guys, their music is amazing. We had been attending a few of their gigs and listening to their music. She said that would be a great idea to use their music in the film, and we should do it. And I said, yes, exactly, I feel the same way. And she said, but you are doing it. So I didn't understand it at that point. And she said, you're going to help me do that. So I said, okay, yeah, fine, I'll help you do that. In my mind, at that time in the script, there were only 3 or 4 songs. So I said, yeah, like I can help you put you in touch with these guys and do it. From there, it kind of snowballed into a more immersive process where we were meeting them, we were jamming with them, I was listening to the music, I was myself getting introduced to many more people through Divine and Nazi, who was so kind of graceful of introducing newer acts to me, younger rappers, younger writers. And before you know it, it kind of snowballed into like an 18-song album. so it just, one thing would lead to another, and it was I would listen to something, I would send it to Zoya and Rima, and they would say, okay, I will include it in the script, we'll do this, we'll do that. So it just kind of like evolving from there, and it just was I think we kind of woke up from this thing in a year and a half, and I realized, oh my god, we've done a lot of work. And then so it started from there, and that's how kind of like it all fell into place.
Was it exciting enough for you to try and do this again? Would that be a threat to Ankur Tewari, the performer, Ankur Tewari, the curator?
No, in fact, I've been doing it since. Then after that, I did this movie Ye Ballet as a music supervisor. I worked on Suitable Boy. I worked on my most recent work will come out with Shakun Batra's next film, Gehraiyan, which is releasing on Amazon Prime. So I have been doing that for, in fact, like music supervision has really consumed a lot of my time and energy, which is very interesting because you kind of end up working with very interesting musicians, mainstream musicians, and independent musicians. Like for Shakun's film, I worked with Kabir and Savera, completely fresh indie act, never done anything mainstream. Kabir goes by the name Oaf, and Savera is Savera. So they have done the whole score. They've done songs in it. For Zoya's next film for Netflix, Archie's, we are working with mainstream music directors as well as independent acts. So it's like quite exciting. Like you will learn so much while working with people.
But is it taking a toll on your songwriting?
No, not at all, because you're always writing songs even when you're hanging with them. So I feel like songwriting is sometimes you sit down and put words on paper, but you're kind of always writing.
But do you use pen and paper? Like, do you have a small diary and all that you carry with?
Yeah. It's always around.
Still very much an analog person there, huh?
I feel, like when you type, it's too easily editable. Like when you write, and also I can only write with a fountain pen. I can't write with ballpoint. It slips. So when you write with a fountain pen and you go slow, your thought is also I think the pace of my mind and the pen on paper is somehow in sync.
Sure.
The pace of typing and thing is like, this is faster. This it doesn't sync with my speed. So I'm kind of a slow person that way. So
which is the luxury of time is something that we all need to understand a little more of in these very strange, bizarre, frenetic times.
It is like my next song is actually called Ahista, and the words go हमें आहिस्ता चलना है, तुम्हें है वक्त की कमी, जो खामोशी में हरकत है वो शोर गुल में नहीं.
Oh my God.
So it is about being slow.
Have you set it to music yet?
I've set it to music. I'm releasing it on the 28th. So please look out and share it with your friends. Encourage them to go slow.
Can we have a slice, a 30-second slice of what it's going to sound like, or do you want to keep the suspense?
I can try. I don't know if it's the right scale. I just have to see. Slightly higher. हमें आहिस्ता चलना है, तुम्हें है वक्त की कमी, जो खामोशी में हरकत है वो शोर गुल में है नहीं. हमें आहिस्ता चलना है, तुम्हें है वक्त की कमी, जो खामोशी में हरकत है वो शोर गुल में है नहीं. चलते चलते रुक भी जाएं आरामों में, चलते चलते रुक भी जाएं आरामों में, भरे सांसें कुछ फुर्सत की, भरे सांसें कुछ फुर्सत की. Easy song, just 3 notes.
But simplicity is sometimes most difficult to get out. But Ankur, you can see that the songs that you write, you really, really deeply feel for them. And right now with the internet, opinion is coming very cheaply. Everyone seems to have 2 of them, and also seems to be expressing them with wild abandon as well. Do you get affected by opinions? I mean, especially considering that on the one hand there's very mainstream Bollywood work that you do, or the film industry work that you do, and on the other there's the indie scene that you're very much a part of with the Galat family. I've also seen personally a lot of comments on Gully Boy saying, "Oh my God, this has really vitiated the true hip hop culture of the country, etc." And apart from the bouquets, there've been the brickbats. Does that kind of opinion, especially on the internet, faze you? Do you see that? What are your? How do you deal with that?
I mean, it does affect you in a way, the good things and the bad things. You feel nice, like a kind of a dopamine shot when somebody says something nice. You do feel a little a punch in your belly when somebody says something wrong. But as I said, it doesn't affect your work, because when you're working, you're not thinking about anything. You're not working according to that. You're just doing what you're feeling, and you kind of expose yourself to those feelings, although in a limited way, because that also helps you write. And like every time you feel low and you feel down and out, that could mean 5 songs, 6 songs. Every time you feel happy, that could mean 3 songs, 2 songs, so it's just that you as an artist, I feel what you end up doing is keep that feeling alive, and you're not immune to anything, or at least that's what I do. I keep that part of my receptor on, where I feel bad about things, I feel upset about things. I just don't. I feel fortunate that I have a way to express those feelings through my work, and I don't kind of have the luxury of not taking it to my personal life. So I can just vent it out from a window, which is art. So I feel fortunate that I have that.
Excellent. And what does the future hold? Where does this all go from here?
No, I have no idea. I have ordered some croque pesto for lunch.
Ah, yeah,
That's kind of where it's going right now. In current times, you don't think for beyond half an hour, 1 hour, maybe one day at a time, just like one ball at a time in a test match.
absolutely, moment to moment to moment, and these moments that we have spent with you have certainly cooked up some great recipes for thought. And
Lovely.
right now, I think we can all do with a lot more of thinking. So thank you very much for that. Is there on the internet? Can people find your music anywhere? Can they follow you, etc., etc.? Where can they find you?
I mean, I'm sure they'll be, if they're interested, they'll find me somewhere. It's damn cheesy giving out handles. So, but they'll find me if they have to find me. I think I'm available everywhere. Whether you find me on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, where do you want to find me? Instagram, wherever you want to find me. If you want, you'll find me.
You spell the Tewari with a T-E,
T-E,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But that also is if you're really interested, you will find me. I would say that.
So yeah, if this interests you, you know what to do. You know what Ankur expects you to do. Ankur Tewari, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for your time, and more importantly for your thoughts, because those
Thank
are
you.
very,
Thank
very
you so much.
precious.
It's always a pleasure talking to you and seeing this frame with those cassettes in the background. I love it every time I see it.
Thank you. That's very, very kind. That's Ankur Tewari, ladies and gentlemen, on the Teamwork Arts podcast. I'm hoping that some of the things that he said, especially about the mind getting obese on being fed with too much information, you might want to think a little about that. But what do you think? You could let us know, of course, in the comments. And thank you for listening. What's happening next? Well, for that, you'll just have to follow us. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Teamwork Arts podcast. My name is Sarthak. Thank you for listening.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, subscribe to our channel now. We have a new episode out every Friday.